Hey guys, how's it going? Ghosty Rich here today, and today we're going to put a subwoofer in a 98 Honda Civic. So if you take a look right here, if you have a non-manual, so an automatic, right here, you're going to have a plug. So to kind of tell you what I did, put a hole through it using a pair of scissors. It's just a little cross hole. Sunk it through. You can see just like that. If you want to later on, you can seal it with silicone or something, up to you how sealed you want it, but it goes through there. And then if you look down here, see if I can aim this light a little more, there was a cover that was in here, and I just shoved my finger through it, and let's see if I can show you a better angle. But it's right there through the carpet now. So now when I drop this wire there, it'll just land onto the floor, and then we can tuck the wire into the carpet. So if you come to your trunk, pop open your trunk, you're gonna see that little handle right here. You just pull that, and as you're pulling it, you should be able to push your seat back. Now, if for some reason you're pulling this and you can't get it to release, there is a key holder on the top here. You'll see it. This is the cylinder for it, but it's on your trunk deck. You will just unlock it, and then you should be able to pull this so it'll open up. And then now you can sink that seat down so we can get down in here to run our wiring all under this carpet here. Take a look at the back seat here. You should be able to just grab it and pull up, and it should release like that. They're just on clips like so. So just grab these and pull on both sides, and actually you could even just do the one side. We just want to be able to tuck it in. So if you open your side door, you're gonna see this, and it's gonna be lipped on here. All you do is you pull back the plastic like so, and you'll see that it pulls away from the metal. You slowly work it out, and then you can work this a little forward. Now the thing is we've already got the seat up, so as long as we can pop this a little bit out, doesn't have to be all the way out, but see how it's like that? You have a lot of space in there to bring it out under the seat. So as long as we can get it under the seat, which we can now, you can see that's the seat right there. We come out here and we can lift the seat, and look at all that big opening. So now we have enough to get into the trunk easily. Let's see if I can give you a better view of this. Put this here, and then just like that. Now the seat's up. We have more than enough. I'll show you once I start running lines. Now let's start going to the front. So next piece we want to get rid of. See that trunk or this is the hood release? Just grab this and pull it a little forward. Should be able to just get it to disconnect from right here, and then up. There we go. One piece right there. And this should just come forward like so. See that piece of carpet that we popped out earlier up there? So that's where we're going to be hiding our wiring, is into this carpet right here, or over to this right here. So it's over like that. But you see this? This is that piece I'm talking about. So we're going to have to pop this out, see if I can do it with my fingers. But this piece right here will disconnect this shroud piece right here. So you should be able to unscrew it with your fingers, maybe. There we go. That comes out. And just taking a look here, there's another Christmas tree popper right here. Now, let's see if I can get this light where it should be. It's right over here. It's blended in. You can either use a popper or try to wiggle out with your fingers, or use the piece to get it out of the way. See that? That's the Christmas tree popper on the back end. So I've got it pushed out enough that I might be able to get it out the rest of the way by pushing its butt end with my finger, or using this kind of like the popping tool. The popping tool will work just like this. Let's see, wiggled out. Now you can move this plastic piece out of the way. So rather than removing this whole piece, what I did is I lifted this up, started stuffing it in, and then I went to this side and I lifted up, and I was able to meet it halfway. So I started stuffing it in through here. I lifted up like so, and then you'll feel the clips pop. So you just pop this, then you should be able to bend this up a little bit. And as you're bending it, feed the wire in, and you should be able to catch it with your fingers. I've done it with 4 gauge before. It worked really easy with this. I think this is like 8 gauge, so it's super simple. But yeah, if I were you, just do that, and then you can just start pulling your wire along. I would get that all tucked into your carpet here, bring it off to the edge, and then you can clip that back on once you've tightened this all up. So I just routed it like that for now. I'll probably zap strap it up onto this piece right here. So it's zap strap up there, zap strap down on this clip. Just keeps it nice and tidy. And then it'll come down through here. And then like I said, so as we're feeding, my light wire's in the way. But right along here, all I'm gonna do is lift and drop into here until it gets to right here, in which it'll be sticking out. And we can tuck it into the trunk through the spots we've already made. So this doesn't leave much to the imagination, but it just wraps, you just wrap the blue part around this piece, tuck it in, so like that. So I'm pulling it out, flux it in and around all the way to that divot which goes under the seat. And see how it's a big opening? It'll literally just slip all the way around and into here. Just tuck it in, pull it tight so you have extra power cable there. And then from there, just go under the seat and it'll pop right out into the trunk. So for the ground, kind of easy. If you grab your trunk lid, flip it up. Let's see if I can get this light around. See those bolts? Those bolts are strapped right into a frame piece. So see how it comes over here and there's some exposed, depending on the size of your ground. Over here is more, like this is all lined up with the frame. So I would clean this off with a piece of steel wool and get that nice and like a dull chrome, so that way it's the paint is gone, and then drill in your ground. Now if you have a big enough eyelet, you could unbolt this, clean this one off, clean off underneath it, and then bolt your ground down through there. This is completely up to you. I don't usually like to do that, but if you want to put your own ground, you can go in right through here and ground it out here. Just make sure you clean this off. You have to scrape the paint off using sandpaper or whatever you want to use and get that off. I use a spinning tool on my drill and that just cleans this off, and then I will bolt down the ground. But that is what you should do, and then that will wrap up right where our sub is going in that corner. Just crimp your end onto your wire like so. This is just the ground. And then after I've crimped it on, you can either heat shrink electrical tape. Mine came with a little black slider cap, so I'll slide that on over the wire. And then I'm just going to self-tap a hole in that covering I just made. There's the ground right there. As you can see, I polished it off. If you want to, another thing you could do is take a can of spray paint or primer protector and shoot that over top of it just to keep that exposed surface from anything like water and stuff. You just don't want it rusting. So from there, put that, and then now we just need to get our RCAs from the stereo and our remote wire back here. First thing I suggest you do is pop off all this trim just like we did on the other side. That way we get to the trunk. As you can see, we're going on the opposite side, so that way you didn't get any ground loops. You could just go on that side. I mean, we're using such a slightly, like, it's just a small gauge of power, but since most people are probably running 4 gauge, I would suggest that you do power on that side, and then we're going to do the remote turn off and RCAs on this side. Now if you haven't taken out this stereo before, you're going to want to watch my other video that I have on how to install a aftermarket stereo in a 98 Civic. Again, I have a video on how to do that. If not, and you have a aftermarket stereo already, I'm just popping this trim ring off, and I've got 2 Kenwood keys. I'm going to slide one in there and one in there, and I'm going to pull this forward. If not, and you need to pull your stereo, go watch my how to change a deck in a 98 Honda Civic, and it'll show you how to pull this stereo out, which will help you access the back of the deck to plug these RCAs in and also hook up our remote wire. All you do is you slide the keys in like so. As you're pulling on one of the keys, I usually like to get a nail in here on this hook, and you pull forward on this hook and pull forward on this key, and it'll just slide forward. Then you can take your keys out, slide the stereo forward, and then you'll have access to everything behind the stereo. So let's go over this. If you go like this, see how we can see that light in there? All you're going to do is stuff the wiring in there like so. Go in here and kind of stuff some of it in here just like we did before, and then you should be able to kind of reach inside here and grab the wiring like so. After you do that, you can If you want to, you can follow this and just zap strap it along here. Now, to get the glove box down, sorry, should have gone through that. It's pretty easy. Pop it open, and you'll see these squeeze tabs on the side of the glove box. See this little rubber? It's up in here. This is in here like so. See if I can get a better angle on this flashlight for you. So, there. See that little rubber piece? It's sitting in there. So you squeeze that in like this by squeezing the inside of the glove box like so. Work that one out, work the other side out. Then this just flops down like so, and that's how you get access. After that, if you follow that wire right here, all you're gonna do is shove this wiring in there like so. So it goes down into there. And then if we are to flip up this glove box, you will see the wiring dangling right here. So you can grab it and ta-da, now we're down there. Feed it to the back just like we did on the other side for the power wire. It literally just pops out the same and pops back in the same. So we're at the back of the stereo. Plug the RCAs in. Just remember the colors. I usually go the light color. So in this case, that will be the blue one will be the white, and then the black one will be the red. So that way your lighter color is always the lighter color, your darker color is always the darker color. Pretty easy to remember. Now this is our remote turn on wire. There is our blue-white wire, which is right here. So I'm going to take this wire out of this bundle in a second, and I'm going to solder this blue wire onto the blue-white wire, and then we'll have a 12-volt trigger for when we want our amp to turn on from the stereo. So if you look at that, 12-volt trigger, plug into SW port on the back, and then we can put the stereo back in. Power, a ground, an RCA, and a remote wire. If you have an amplifier, you have everything you need here. All you will do is you will hook up your power wire to the one that says battery, and then there'll be one that says ground. So you would screw that one into ground, obviously. Then you'll see one that that should say remote. So the remote will go into there. The RCAs just go into, well, as we know, we made the black one here. Make sure we look. The black one, which is this one, goes into red. This one goes into there. Now, if yours is got the, if your sub box has two, like a red and a black on the side, or just two terminal posts, which is red and black, of course you'd run red to red on the amp and black to black for the subwoofer. So it usually has a positive and a negative sign, and the positive will be red and the negative will be black. And then you would run it to your subwoofer. It might have posts like this, or it'll have screw-in posts, and you run it in there. This one's like an all-in-one built-in thing. Again, this is going to be switched out, but for right now it'll do. But you would just run a piece of speaker wire from the red wire to the plus, black wire to the negative, and then on the side of the box you'd run it to red and black on the post. So just do that. For right now, I'm going to just wire it up. These are high level inputs just so I don't confuse anyone. So with this particular unit, we don't use these. These are for if you're going to tag off of these speakers instead of use RCAs, and we don't want to do that. If we were going to do that, I'd be using like an LC2I, which is a high output line out converter. If you don't want to change the stereo or your deck, I would suggest to on most of these models. But if you have a newer vehicle, like something that's 20 or 2006 even for the Hondas, because they have an expensive dash kit, then you'd maybe want to do a high output converter. Okay, if we take a look at this, it's all wired up, all put in. Black is to ground, power is to power, remote to remote. That's right there. I'm going to clean that up after I strap this down. Again, if you're going to strap down your amp, it's pretty easy. You could put just a couple ribbon straps or L brackets right here and then mount it to the bottom here. That is one way. That's one way I like to do it. There's a couple different ways. You can mount it from the back too. You just want to keep it mainly from sliding side to side. So if you can put like an L bracket, like flip down the seat, put an L bracket behind it, that's another thing. And like I said, an L bracket, you can make it even out of ribbon strapping, just like that. One screw here, put one on each corner, boom. With this Stinger Select kit, first thing you want to do is slide on the cap. Then there's a rubber grommet which is going to seal. You'd slide that on. As you can see, we have this right here. You're going to take an Allen key, loosen that, make sure that adapter doesn't fall out if you're using 18 gauge. If you're using 4 gauge, there might be an 8 gauge adapter out there. Just drop it out of there. So you have the 4 gauge, slide the wire inside the hole, and then crank that down so it squeezes on the wire to hold it in there. And then we're going to put a small little split end, which you cut off of here, and we're going to turn this into, it's going to come out of this side of the terminal, and we're going to put a ring on there so we can bolt that right here on our battery. You could also try and find another one, but I think that's our only spot on this battery terminal. So we'll bolt it on to there. You can see that I have put the fuse terminal in. That's sitting right there. That was just a 10 mil bolt. Loosened the 10 mil bolt off, slid on the power wire after I crimped on the tip just like I did with the ground, and then tightened down that 10 bolt. Now we're technically live. Now it's time to go test it in the car. So go turn on your car, make sure everything fires up, and at this point you're ready to go. Note to you, make sure you do this part last with the battery. Now see that blue wire? I'm gonna be getting some loom for it. I'm gonna zap strap it like that for now, and I might even get some zap ties like those, and then they come with a little eye on them so you can screw them in. Might screw those into the firewall along there, or I might just loom it and leave it but zap strap it at certain points. But for right now, that's how I'm gonna have it going. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching. Like it if it helped you out, and subscribe for more. Again, this was a 1998 Honda Civic. Technically it's an SI Canadian model, but you might notice some differences if you have the American model. All right,